good to join me on Global News on Zuma Nigeria. And we begin the news stories with 2 killed in Russian drone strike on Kyiv region in Ukraine. Donald Trump plans to contact North Korea's Kim Jong-un. United Nations confirms U.S. to exit World Health Organization in 2026. Severe weather disrupts school for 250 million kids, UNICEF says, and air pollution shuts over 350 schools in Bangkok, Thailand. Talking Russia-Ukraine war, no fewer than 2 people have been murdered in Russian drone attack close to Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Acting head of Kyiv's regional military administration, Mykola Kalashnik, said on Friday that the overnight attack by enemy UAVs aimed by the Kyiv region, killing 2 people in their homes and wounding 2 others. The attack came as Russian authorities said the country's air defense systems intercepted and destroyed 121 drones launched by Ukraine overnight. The drones were downed over 13 Russian regions, including 7 over Moscow and nearby region, the defense ministry said in a statement. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said the drones had been intercepted at many locations around the capital. Report quoted the Federal Aviation Agency as saying 2 Moscow airports, Nukovo and Domodedovo, were handling flights after suspending operations. 6 flights were redirected to other airports. Other regions aimed by the raids include Kursk, Bryansk, Belgorod, and the Russian-annexed Crimean Peninsula, according to the Defense Ministry. The governors of the Ryazan and Tula regions, both located south of Moscow, also reported attacks. Moscow and Kyiv are vying for advantage ahead of possible deliberations in the early days of U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. Before his inauguration, Trump vowed to end the Ukraine war immediately upon taking office, raising expectations that he will leverage aid to force Kyiv to make concessions to Russia, which invaded in February 2022. But this week, he stepped up pressure on Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to make a deal, threatening tougher economic measures if Moscow does not agree to end the nearly 3-year-old war. Donald Trump, U.S. president, said he plans to reach out to North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un following his return to the White House. During an interview on Thursday, Trump was asked about his plans for Kim and whether he would reach out to him. Trump and Kim had a remarkably strong support rapport during the president's first term in office, for 2 nations at odds since the Korean War some 70 years ago. Trump has earlier described their relationship as very, very good and has referred to Kim as a smart guy. Trump met with Kim Jong-un on 3 separate occasions between 2018 and 2019 during his first term in office. He made history in 2019 as the first sitting U.S. president to visit North Korea since 1953. Armistice brought a de facto end to the Korean War. Following his re-election in November, Trump's team said they were weighing reopening direct talks with Kim. However, Trump's close ties with Kim has put him at odds in the past with South Korea, a U.S. treaty ally and potentially even members of his own cabinet as he heads into his second term in office. Trump's Speak for Secretary of State, Senator Marco Rubio, described Kim as a dictator at his Senate confirmation hearing and called for a very serious look at the border with North Korean policies. Now, the United States is officially set to withdraw from the World Health Organization, WHO, in January 2026 after the United Nations body received an official letter from U.S. President Donald Trump this week. Farhan Haq, United Nations deputy spokesperson, said on Thursday that the withdrawal was now set in motion after Trump promised on Monday, his first day in office, to withdraw the U.S. from the WHO and to put an end to future funding of the organization. I can confirm we have now received the U.S. letter on the WHO withdrawal. It is dated 22nd January 2025. It will take effect a year from yesterday on 22nd January 2026, Haq said. Trump also ordered Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Director of U.S. Government Office of Management and Budget to pause the future transfer of any United States government funds, support, or resources to the World Health Organization. Washington has recalled all U.S. government personnel working with the WHO and ordered them to cease participating in deliberation on a WHO-led global treaty on dealing with pandemics. With the departure of US, the WHO will lose its most key financial backer. According to experts, the US contributes about 18% of the organization's funding, which amounted to about 261 million US dollars between 2024 and 2025. That contribution is followed in second place by China at 181 million US dollars. The WHO's loss of its top donor will affect the Global Health Agency's ability to tackle major crises from tuberculosis to HIV and AIDS and global pandemics. Trump had accused the WHO of mishandling the COVID-19 pandemic during his first term in office and had sent a request to withdraw from the organization in July 2020. That withdrawal effort was thwarted when Trump lost the 2020 presidential poll to Joe Biden, who immediately withdrew the other ones in office. Several health experts have accused Trump and his administration of botching the U.S.'s response to the COVID-19 pandemic, which claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans. The WHO issued a statement on Tuesday saying it regretted the announced departure of the U.S. and pointed out that its work plays a crucial role in protecting the health and security of the world's people, including Americans. We hope the United States will reconsider and we look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue to maintain the partnership between USA and World Health Organization for the benefit of the health and well-being of millions of people around the globe, the WHO said. According to June Galbraith, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania Law School in 1948, the U.S. joined the WHO through joint resolutions from both congressional houses, which leaves a question mark over whether Trump can unilaterally pull U.S. membership without congressional approval. Legal experts said Trump's Republican Party controls both the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, but the withdrawal could still be challenged in court. Trump made a unilateral decision to pull out of WHO, but we joined WHO in 1948 by an act of Congress. Trump needs Congress's approval to withdraw, Lawrence Gostin, director of the O'Neill Institute for National and Global Health Law at Georgetown University, said in a statement. The United Nations Children's Agency has said at least 242 million students had their education interrupted last year because of heat waves, cyclones, floods, and other dire weather events. Heat waves were the most disruptive climate event, with Bangladesh, the Philippines, and Cambodia experiencing extensive school shutdowns and reduced school hours, UNICEF said in a report released on Friday. Afghanistan was among a number of countries to face several climate hazards, with the country facing heat waves as well as extreme flash floods that damaged or destroyed over 110 schools in May, UNICEF said. In 2024, world temperatures hit an all-time high, with the Earth's average surface temperature rising 1.55 degrees Celsius, 2.79 degrees Fahrenheit, above the 1850 to 1900 average, according to the World Meteorological Organization. Children are more vulnerable to the impacts of weather-related crises, including stronger and more frequent heat wave storms, droughts, and flooding, UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Rizal said. Children's bodies are uniquely vulnerable. They heat up faster, they sweat less efficiently, and cool down more slowly than adults. Children cannot concentrate in classrooms that offer no respite from sweltering heat, and they cannot get to school if the path is flooded or if schools are washed away. According to UNICEF, in total, 85 countries experienced climate-related school disruptions, including 20 countries that saw disruptions nationwide. Of the closely 250 million students affected, 74% were in middle and low-income countries. South Asia was the worst affected region, with around 128 million students facing climate-related upheaval, followed by East Asia and the Pacific, according to UNICEF. September recorded the most frequent disruptions, with at least 18 countries suspending classes, according to the United Nations Agency. Meanwhile, authorities in Thailand's capital have said over 350 schools in Bangkok have been forced to close due to air pollution. According to IQ Air, in partner of the United Nations Environment Programme, the Thai capital has been battling with hazardous air quality since midweek, when city authorities gave schools permission to close and advised people to work from home after the air quality index AQI hit 159. Six-wheel trucks have also been restricted from entering parts of the city. An AQI reading above 100 is considered unhealthy, while a reading above 200 is rated very unhealthy. When authorities announced the closure of about 100 additional schools on Friday morning, the AQI stood at 185. As of 11 a.m. local time, Bangkok ranked as the 8th most polluted city in the world, behind Dhaka, Lahore, Kathmandu, Karachi, Delhi, Mumbai and Ho Chi Minh City, according to IQ Air. While hundreds of schools remain shut, only around 100,000 of Bangkok's over 10 million residents have signed up for a voluntary work-from-home scheme, according to report. Bangkok Governor Chat Sitipult said the increase in pollution was the result of the seasonal burning of crops, vehicle emissions, and the burning of rubbish. The AQI index, which was developed by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, measures ground-level ozone particle pollution into PM 2.5 and PM 10, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide. This week, much of Bangkok's pollution was stoked by a high concentration of PM 2.5, cancer-causing microparticles. The city's PM 2.5 levels hit 108 micrograms per cubic meter on Friday morning, 21.6 times the World Health Organization's annual guideline. Over the weekend, pollution levels are likely to subside, reaching 71 by Monday, according to a forecast by IQ Air. The Bangkok-based Kisikon Research Center said this week that the pollution could cost the city between 3 and 6 billion baht, that's 88 to 177 million US dollars, if it continued for a month, according to reports. On more stories in Africa, M23 rebels pushed toward Goma, causing panic and injuries. On Thursday, panic overwhelmed Goma as M23 rebels advanced steadily towards the city in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo DRC, clashing with the National Army. Explosions echoed from the outskirts, and the major hospital was inundated with hundreds of wounded civilians transported from surrounding towns and villages. Some individuals recounted their harrowing escape from attacks in Mumbabiro and Sake, located 25 kilometers 15 miles west-northwest of Goma, where they witnessed numerous casualties. The situation in Sake was unclear, with reports from residents suggesting that the rebels had infiltrated and taken control of the town. Many from Sake have joined the ranks of more than 178,000 people who have fled due to the M23's recent offensive. In recent weeks, the rebel group has made notable progress on Goma, a city of almost 2 million residents and a key center for security and humanitarian operations. M23 is one of around 100 armed factions competing for control in the mineral-rich eastern DRC, close to the Rwandan border, amidst a protracted conflict that has resulted in one of the biggest humanitarian crunch globally. More than 7 million individuals have been displaced due to the ongoing violence. M23 earlier this month captured the towns of Minova, Katale, and Masisi, situated to the west of Goma. In 2012, M23 briefly seized Goma, holding it for more than a week. As news of the clashes spread, schools in Goma sent students home on Thursday morning. Congo, along with the United States and United Nations experts, has accused Rwanda of backing the M23 group, which is mainly made up of ethnic Tutsis that defected from the Congolese army over 10 years ago. We take a breather now. When we come back, I'll bring you stories. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. We continue the stories with stories from Nigeria. We begin with Tinubu vows to prioritize welfare of military personnel. On Thursday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised that his administration will commit more resources towards improving the welfare of military personnel, protecting the nation's territorial integrity. He stated this at Admiralty Estate near Mogadishu cantonment at the commissioning of a newly built military barracks named after him and intended to accommodate over 600 personnel, while assuring that he will continue to provide whatever will be required to ease the job of the troops, mainly those on the front lines. He stated was key to win the ongoing war against bandits, terrorists, and others. He charged authorities of the Nigerian army to ensure sufficient maintenance culture to keep the accommodation conducive for the personnel always. The Chief of Army Staff COAs, General Olufemi Oluyede, while speaking earlier, lamented that more than 40% of the Nigerian army personnel are still not accommodated, but assured that he will do everything within his power to lessen the challenges being faced. Given the details of how the new Bola Ahmed Tinubu barracks will be allocated, Oluyede said the barracks contain a total of 614 accommodations, saying both senior and junior officers as well as soldiers will be accommodated. The Army Chief stated, and I quote, in specific terms, the project comprises 16 Major General Quarters, 34 Brigadier General Quarters, 3 by 20 Family Major to Colonel Quarters, 3 by 20 Family Lieutenant to Captain Quarters, and 6 by 30 Family Senior Non-Commissioned Officers Quarters. Others are 6 by 30 Family Corporal and Below Quarters, 40 by 21 Corporal and Below Quarters. These translate to accommodation for 614 personnel consisting of 170 officers and 444 soldiers and their families. Also provided in this barracks are 3 worship centers, sports facilities, and a powerhouse. The external infrastructure includes the perimeter fence, while 15 entrance gates, gate houses and umbrellas, grant water supply facilities, access road networks, and hard and soft landscaping, all constructed to the highest standards. Although this seems huge with the scale of accommodation deficits the Nigerian army faces in Abuja, this is only but just a drop in the ocean. Talking health matters, JAGPA, Nigeria left with only 6,000 medical consultants. Only 6,000 consultants are left in the country, the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, MD Khan, says. On Thursday, its president, Professor Mohammed, said this during the association's National Executive Council NEC meeting in Ilorin. The meeting was themed Policy Making for Quality Healthcare Services, engaging policymakers for quality healthcare delivery. Mohammed explained that 6,000 consultants remain as of February 2024, lamenting that data showed that almost 1,300 left Nigeria in the last 5 years. According to him, the number will continue to decrease as the retirement age for medical consultant is 60 years. The MD-CAN president stressed that the number of consultants will continue to lessen as long as the country produces only 1 or 2 per annum. He lauded the government for its effort toward finding solutions to the challenges. According to him, the association is hopeful that consultants will be able to serve up to 70 years, while other healthcare workers will continue to serve up to 65 years, noting that such a step will ensure that medical and dental consultants who remain in the country continue to give their expertise in the health field. Mohammed also appealed to the government at all tiers to ensure medical lectures are placed on the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure (CONMES), addressing disparities in their emoluments. And finally on the news, telecom tariff hike, NCC to meet subscribers' labor plans protest. Today, the National Association of Telecommunications Subscribers will engage the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), demanding a possible reversal of the 50% telecom tariff spike to 10% as the Nigerian Labour Congress signals promptness for protest. The federal government approved a 50% addition after operators initially requested a 100% hike. However, subscribers are pushing for a 10% adjustment if negotiations fail, they plan to file a lawsuit next week to challenge the decision. The rise, the first in more than a decade, is targeted at revitalizing the grappling telecom sector, which contributes almost 14% to Nigeria's economy and has continued to trigger extensive debates and controversies. The labor union, led by Joe Ajaero, condemned the surge on Wednesday, describing it as an added burden on Nigerian workers who earn less than $50 per month as minimum wage. The union cautioned of potential collective action, including a nationwide boycott of telecom services, to compel the government and the NCC to reverse the decision. Tariff rates on phone calls and messages have remained unchanged, Even as operators face increasing costs triggered by inflation, exchange rate volatility, and substantial investments required to meet growing consumer demand. These challenges have formed major financial strain, jeopardizing the sustainability of the telecommunications sector, a key pillar of Nigeria's digital economy. The Subscriber Association stressed that telecom sector is a model of successful privatization in Nigeria, urging NLC to seek solutions that benefit both consumers and operators. To refresh our memories, 2 killed in Russian drone strike on Kyiv region in Ukraine. Donald Trump plans to contact North Korea's Kim Jong-un. United Nations confirms U.S. to exit the World Health Organization in 2026. Severe weather disrupts school for 250 million kids, UNICEF says, and air pollution shuts over 350 schools in Bangkok, Thailand. And that's all on the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Lois Turaki from all the crew. Have a blessed weekend ahead.